So I'm here at World Comic Con with King Baratheon himself, Mark Addy. Mark, it's lovely to meet you.
And you. Yeah, it's great here. There's quite a crowd here today. It's brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's queues everywhere, aren't there?
Yep. It was. I was here last year, and I mean, there were a lot of people last year, but I think this year it's there seems to be twice the number of people. So, but it's great. You know, it's fantastic. You meet a lot of really interesting folk.
And Mark, tell me how you found it playing Robert Baratheon, obviously the king of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, well, he's the king, but he's not happy, and you know he's a very troubled soul because he took over leadership in a kind of I suppose like a coup, if you like. They knew they had to get rid of the Mad King Aerys because he was just a crazy guy, killing his own people, lunatic dictator. But then in the void that's left, who's gonna take the reins? And Robert decides to, sort of foolishly, but it's not the bed of roses that he thought it was going to be, and he's got to deal with fussy little, domestic issues, which is not what he got into the job for in the first place. So he's a troubled soul, and he's stuck in a loveless marriage with one of his biggest enemies, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
And he realizes almost too late that he's surrounded himself by Lannisters. Not a great position to be in, really.
Is it? No. I mean, if you had to say who you think would come out on top at the end of the day in Game of Thrones, who do you think it would be? Do you think it'd be the House Stark, House Lannister, House Targaryen?
It's a tricky one. I think ultimately the Starks should triumph, but that remains to be seen. I think the Starks, and obviously I include Jon Snow in that. But they are, they're the best of the people. Actually, Tyrion will probably triumph, I would imagine. He seems to land on his feet.
Yeah, and he likes playing the game, doesn't he?
He does like playing the game, and he's very good at it. Yeah.
He's very good.
So.
And what qualities do you think you needed that maybe King Robert was lacking to survive in Game of Thrones?
That's a tough question. I think you have to be ruthless, and I think you have to be aware of everything that's going on around you. And for a kick-off, I personally would change the members of my small council and make sure I'm getting advice from the right kind of person.
Yeah.
But everybody's got their own self-interests at heart, so it's tricky to. It's a tricky one to gauge. But I think. I think I'd get my advisors in order, I think.
I think that would definitely be the way forward. Now, how do you think you'd have fared if you were actually in Robert's world? Because it's a tough old world to live in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brutal, and there's no, there's very little mercy shown. I don't think I'd last long, to be honest, but it's fantastic to just step into that world momentarily and pretend to be a part of it. And not have to actually live through any of that. It's nice.
It'd be pretty awful, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, it's tough. It's tough. But that's why the characters become what they become. And they all change in different ways. But it is a tough world, and you have to. They have to find a way to survive and to overcome the odds. It just makes it fascinating. That's the great thing about it. It is it's a brilliant tale, and you never know where it's going to take you. That's
one of the reasons why we love it. We're always getting the rug pulled beneath our feet, aren't we? And when you got the chop, it was death by boar, wasn't it? What did you feel about that?
Yeah, I was hoping that you'd get to see the death, but unfortunately, like in the book, it's all just sort of reported. But there are, I think. My favourite death was Viserys with the golden crown.
Oh my goodness!
That's got to be high on the list of top screen deaths of all time. So yeah, no, I mean, being killed by a pig, it pales into insignificance compared with that.
So you would have liked to have gone without gold on your head with you?
Yeah, but you know, it was sort of a ironically pathetic way to die, really.
I loved it when he said, you know, everyone's going to eat it now that I've gone. Have a feast.
That's
Make merry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, and I hope that happens when I go. Yeah, have a big party. We'll see.
Now, what's it like working with, because you work with a number of members of the cast, don't you? Of course, Lena Headey as Cersei. You've got, because all the Lannisters in there. You've got Joffrey, you've got Peter Dinklage, you've got Ned Stark, of course, Sean Bean, who you've worked with before. What's it like working with all those guys?
It's brilliant. I mean, it was great working with Sean again. We were at drama school at the same time, and we did Red Riding together for Channel 4. So you know, we have our own sort of personal history, and it's nice to be able to bring that to the floor when you're playing friends that have known each other for years and years. So actually knowing each other for a long time helps you. You know what I mean? It means you can just get on and and be those characters. So no, terrific. And Lena is just a joy to work with. A lot of laughs, even though she's playing such a bitchy character.
Very nice.
She's terrific, and you know, of course, Jack Gleeson, who plays Joffrey, is an absolute sweetheart in real life. That's you know what I mean. He's such a brilliant actor to play. Such a hideous character. I think he's a genius, and he played it really, really well. So yeah, it's just I had such a good time working on it. It was a shame that I had to die, but that's the way it goes.
You know, maybe you could come back. You know, it's a world of also mystery and magic, isn't it?
It is, but I think if they were going to bring Robert back for any useful purpose, they'd bring him back in his younger form when he was fit and, you know, brutal and a warrior rather than a fat old drunk. I don't know what use he'd be to anybody.
How important was it for you then reading those George R. R. Martin books? Because obviously all that's in there, isn't it? All the backstory.
It was really useful for me because it gives you, you know, this in the scripts he's grumpy and shouty and rude, and which is fine. But the great thing about the books is you realise exactly why he is the way he is, and the decisions, the poor decisions that he's made. Are a part of that, and his entire history is there for you to absorb, and it was great to be able to do that, to have that as a resource. Normally you'd have to make up your own character's backstory, but with it all being there, it's brilliant. Brilliant.
Now, if you had to be any other character, if you could choose any other character apart from Robert, obviously we loved you as him and you enjoyed it, who would you like to play?
Obviously, if I was the correct height, I would Tyrion would be the. Because Tyrion's just a corking character. He gets the lion's share of the best lines, and he's such a. He's a wise survivor. I think that's. I love the fact that he gives Snow advice about, realizing what you are, and using that as a defense. The fact that he's a dwarf. He says, I know I'm a dwarf. Everybody else knows I'm a dwarf. They're not going to get to me through that route. I wear that as armor, and it's his philosophy is it's interesting, intriguing, and it's true. I think you can either let people put you down, or you put your defences up, and and it was water off a duck's back. And that's where he's. Yeah, that's why I think he's such a brilliant character.
Love him, and everyone does love him. And everyone loves Mark Addy and Robert Baratheon as well. We're sad to see you go in that first season.
Yeah, it was. But I knew it was. It was a short-lived character, but I really enjoyed playing it, and it's a sort of privilege to be. To be a part of something that's of such high quality and creates a world unlike anything I've ever seen.
What would you like to say to the fans out there who are watching this video, fans of Game of Thrones?
I would like to say, ours is the fury. Game of Thrones rules.